Now, one of the biggest problems of the franchise, the bad guys, is they're not fully allowed to kind of develop the whole cast. It's something because maybe time limit, or they just don't know what to do with the rest of the cast, like Piranha, Shark, and Web. That's the three side characters didn't have the chance to fully develop in the movie series, but the TV series is the other way around. They're allowed to actually explore, understand, and develop the rest of the cast, but also have another problem how you could tell the beginning without telling the beginning. They've decided to go to the year one route. If you don't know what I'm talking about, telling a story a very popular IB while actually going the very beginning, they decided to sort of do a 1 year kind of deal. That 1 year they're being a team, a little bit experienced, but not fully. They're not fully like the movies experts. They have flaws, mistakes, sort of figure out how everything works, and sort of be recognizable of the public who are the bad guys. And that's sort of the angle of this sort of series. And in my opinion, it does work some of the times, but yet it still works because of the characters. But before I continue on, my name is Rachel. I like to talk about animation, not just animation, just reviews, first impressions, cartoon theories, or sometimes, if I have some spare time, cartoon breaking news. Of course, you like how it's going, like to help my channel, put a like, comment, and subscribe. That's the only thing you need to do. If not, that's fine. We do thank you. Because of you, I'm getting close to my main goal of 2,000 subscribers. And yes, I'm getting close every single day because of people like you. People put like, comment, and share. Thank you. Now let's continue breaking on of this new series of the bad guys breaking in. Now let's get started. Now, one of the things that make this series kind of interesting is the fact how the bad guys still is trying to kind of figure out how the team actually works. Like each member has their own sort of talents, but it's still none have time how to really know each other. They have sort of ifs and buts around here, like they trying to overact like Shark and turn to less act, almost kind of tell me a lesson of the episode of each character, sort of knowing who they supposed to be or what sort of spot they need to be to make this team actually work. But love it is they sort of kind of losers. You know what I mean? As sort of the entertaining wise, because the public sort of view, nobody knows who is the bad guys, because this is sort of the beginning. This is sort of fixing all the kinks of the team, figuring out who can lead, who cannot lead, who's playing we listen, what's the pitch, and that's sort of the interesting thing. You could see everybody's different opinion, point of view, but allow them to sort of develop the characters. For example, she's sort of the one that is just sort of the tech girl, but because she's the only tech person who is understanding about knowledge about technical things, she feels a little bit like the outsider in the group. Even that the whole show points out she's the rookie in the group. She's the new person who trying to fit in the group, but yet she doesn't know how to. And on top of this, she doesn't have boundaries. What do I mean doesn't have boundaries? She's a habit of basically putting cameras in your room without your permission. On top of this, she's sort of a theory kind of crap pot who make theories of other people, trying to figure out if that kind of true, that theory, to push them becoming sort of accidentally awful people. They actually played around that idea one specific episode to understand what type of character Whip really is. For other characters like Shark, they do something a little bit the same as the movies, but it kind of asks more question who he used to be before he joined the bad guys, that he actually was a professional actor, but never fully made it, but they will never go that deep, but just deep enough to understand why he's just sort of a ham, why he needs to be on camera, because he never made it the big shot, because this is the reason why he always wanted to act. Now, you also have Piranha in this series trying to develop, but at the very end, he stays the same, that sort of short temper, getaway driver that sort of panics, and that's basically his whole stick. But they trying to kind of develop it with his sort of comrades, understanding more their relationship, and they went that Pacific angle to understand him a little bit more. all of that, that's all the development of each character gets. They get more understanding how they connect to some different characters. And that's basically it. But I love it even more if you actually love the movies and you've seen the little things here or there, like for example, like the reporter who comes out to report all the things when going on. In this series, because it's a prequel, she actually is not official reporter. She's not like the main anchor. She's sort of like the sort of person who gives sort of fun new kind of information, but sort of angry she can never beat one of the big shots, and that's why she's sort of pissed off and reappears back and forth, and that's what's sort of interesting. You can see everybody seeing sort of lies before the bad guys made it big. And this one made it super kind of special because you get to know the team and then all the sort of kind of mistakes, especially a Wolf, because Wolf is some reason he kind of is obsessed to becoming the big shot. Like he making choice after choice, but every time he makes sort of a choice, he made a mistake, not realizing maybe I should have done this a little different. And that's what make it interesting because the movies, he's confident, but he could pull it off. In the TV series, he's sort of, once again, a kind of person who wants it, but he's kind of a loser who has charm. Like every time he made a mistakes, he learned from it and adapt from it, understanding how to execute that sort of mistake even better. And that's what makes this sort of series kind of fun, to see the mistake, to see the develop, to see how all the characters sort of kind of communicate with each other, but not sure if this is completely worth it. Because at the beginning of the series, they almost broke up because they wasn't sure maybe it's not worth it. Maybe Wolf cannot deliver what he promised them to become fully bad guys in this sort of team. And I thought that's just sort of interesting, but at the same time, that's sort of risky because if you do that, you sort of explain how they join, how Wolf convinced them. You're kind of wondering they cannot do the origin of the bad guys because the TV series did it. This is sort of like a kind of maybe they gotta erase this and redo it in the movies, but at the same time, if you do that, you kind of piss off the fans who like the TV series, and that's sort of the issue of making anime series based on movies. Because if you tell the origin, maybe they wanted to tell the origin before the TV series were actually made, because you took something that could be creative, now they can't. And that's sort of the fundamental problem making this type of series. But all of that, I did enjoy it. It is fun. It's sort of self-aware of all the ridiculousness of the characters, but also inflating them, sort of being self-aware. And I thought it would be kind of awful when I saw the trailers, but no, I was completely wrong. I mean, half wrong, because I was sort of surprised how much I actually laughed watching this series. Like each single character just completely funny. It is quite enjoyable, especially with a snake sort of relationship, how they kind of trust itself, how they communicate, wondering what's gonna do next. And I liked it also they did develop the rest of the cast, but I love it even more. They reward you a little things here or there, like the kind of the treasure they have. Like you see the very beginning of the movie, they show you their sort of haul, the treasure, like everything they stole in the past. In the TV series, they attempted to kind of give you sort of answers how they stole this specific thing. Or here, it's not the big goal, but they give you sort of kind of Easter eggs of the movie, what they had it before, what is that specific story. But they not fully focused on that. They only did it once or twice just to get an idea how this treasure became really big over the years, because how expert they become. But I love it, they do point out they're still rookies. They're still figuring out how to escape, how to make plans, how to kind of understand each other, but yet they're still kind of messing up. But I love it. It's sort of the writing, the camaraderie, the teamwork. They just so, I want to say perfect written, but the only problem is they have this sort of downside, because at the very end, this had to become sort of episodic. It does have continuity, but it's something I feel they just need maybe 5 episodes and that's it, 6 in max. but it did not need all 5 or 6 episodes. This is like a 10 episode sort of season. And obviously, you see the series, it just needed 5 episodes and that's it. But you know what? It depends on you. If you like the cast, the comedy, how everything clicks, if it works for you, you probably will not notice. If you like me, you feel it kind of stretched out, but yet I still enjoy it. It's something I still recommend. Watch it a little bit if you have some spare time, or you're a hardcore fan, you just don't care, you just want to know it is funny, likable, enjoyable. Yes, it's not the same level of animation like the movie, but at the very end, it's still completely worth it because you like the characters, you like the camaraderie, you like what else, what kind of crazy kind of idea they actually do work nowadays. But that's basically what is this series. It's sort of understanding more about the characters, the sort of risks they take, and figure out how to get out the next sort of job nowadays. Now I got nothing else to say, just one question. Have you seen it? Do you like it? Tell me down below, let me know. I got nothing else to say, just thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.